It's November 2005. The forests around Perth, Western Australia, echo with the sound of the World Rally cars at full attack. The final round of the WRC season. The stage is set for high drama, fast roads, huge stakes, and a season that's had everything from triumph to heartbreak. But no one in the service park knew it yet. This rally would become one of the most important and controversial events in modern rallying history. This is Rally Australia 2005, and by the end of it, the entire shape of the World Rally Championship would change forever. Heading into 2005, Mitsubishi's World Rally team was fighting for survival. Inside the team, the message was simple: get a podium this year or there won't be a next. For the very first round, they delivered it. Gilles Panizzi, third at Monte Carlo. A perfect start, the morale boost everyone needed. But just as the champagne dried, the goalposts moved. Management explained that Mitsubishi's financial year started in April, not January, meaning Monte Carlo did not count. Their fight for the future hadn't even begun. From then on, the pressure was suffocating. The Lancer WRC 05 had potential, new aerodynamics, better balance, but results just wouldn't come. The team dug in, kept learning, kept believing, knowing that every stage could be their last chance to prove themselves. And so, the circus rolled into Perth. Round 16, the season finale. Fast-flowing gravel stages that lined with towering trees and deep ruts. For Mitsubishi, this was another shot at redemption. Harry Rovanperä and Gigi Galli would lead the charge in the red and silver Lancers, determined to end the season on a high. No one could have predicted what was about to unfold. The rally exploded into chaos. Sebastian Loeb crashed. Petter Solberg engine failure. Marcus Gronholm mechanical retirement. 3 world champions all gone. Suddenly the rally turned upside down. The outsiders, Mitsubishi, Škoda and the privateers were running up at the front. For Harry Rovanperä, this was the moment. The Lancer was quick, reliable and for the first time all year in contention. But 2 names stood in the way: Francois Deval and Colin McRae. Whilst chaos reigned at the front, Ford was quietly working on something else. 2005 was their interim year, a holding pattern before a full assault in 2006. They'd assigned the season to 2 dependable drivers, Tony Gardemeister and Roman Cresta. Not to win rallies, but to help develop the all-new Focus RS WRC 06. Here in Perth, that brand new car made its first public outing. This wasn't about trophies, it was about testing, finding weaknesses, verifying parts, and locking in reliability. The plan was already in motion. Marcus Gronholm, fresh from Peugeot's withdrawal, would join Ford the following year, with Mika Hirvonen alongside him. Rally Australia wasn't just a finale, it was Ford's first rehearsal for domination, and within a year, that focus would be winning rallies and titles. McCrae was back in the WRC with Škoda, hungry to remind everyone what made him a champion. He and Harry traded times all weekend. In the morning stages, Harry was faster. His Pirellis working better on the fresh gravel. In the afternoons, as the roads cut up, the Michelins on McCrae's Fabia took over. By Sunday morning, it was shaping up to be a flat-out fight for second place. But then, something strange happened. Sunday lunchtime, final main service of the rally. Mitsubishi's mechanics were prepping for their routine refuel, tyres, suspension check, everything by the book. Across the service park, Colin McRae's Škoda Fabia rolled into the time control, perfectly on time, and from the outside, perfectly fine. Colin hadn't reported any issues on the road section. The car drove in clean, no drama, no missed gears, nothing. But once in the service bay, the Škoda crew immediately went for the gearbox. Within minutes, the Fabia was up on stands, gearbox out, clutch exposed, the full assembly stripped down. Colin looked on, calm as ever, but even he admitted later he wasn't entirely sure why it was being changed. The mechanics worked flat out, but time was slipping away. As the final seconds ticked down, the gearbox still wasn't back together. The clock hit 0. Out of time, out of the rally. Officially, it was a clutch problem. Unofficially, it raised more questions than it answered. Word spread fast. Škoda Motorsport had a crucial meeting back in Europe, just days after Rally Australia. A board discussion to decide the future of the team. A strong result here could have strengthened their case to stay in the World Rally Championship. But a poor showing, or worse, a failed scrutineering check, could have ended it. That's where whispers began. Some inside the service park believe the Fabia was running just a little too well. It had been mid-pack all season, yet suddenly in Australia, despite champions retiring, it was fighting for the podium. Retiring early meant no post-event inspection, no teardown, no questions asked. A perfectly timed clutch issue could make the team look fast, competitive, unlucky, and avoid any deeper scrutiny. Then, add to that, only a few weeks earlier on his home event, Rally GB, McCrae had been locked in a fierce midfield fight with his own protege, Chris Meek, who was driving a privateer Subaru Impreza WRC. The two traded stage times all weekend. Meek even held the upper hand until stage 12, where McCrae finally edged ahead. But by the end of the rally, the difference between them was just over 10 seconds. Yet here, on the other side of the world, Fabio was suddenly matching the frontrunners. Even Harry Rovanperä said afterwards, "I just can't quite turn the tide on Duval, every stage, 1 or 2 seconds. And as for that bloody Škoda, what have they done to that?" Maybe it really was just bad luck, or maybe there was a little more to it than that. Whatever the truth, when the Fabio retired, Mitsubishi suddenly found themselves in prime position. With McCrae out, Harry went flat out. He took 5 stage wins on the final day, the Lancer finally unleashed. After 16 rounds of frustration, Mitsubishi were back on the podium. Francois Duval took the win for Citroën, his first WRC victory, but Harry's second place and Gigi Galli's 5th was a huge result for the team. The Lancer had the pace, the reliability, the team spirit, it finally all came together. For the first time in years, it felt like Mitsubishi were on the way back up. What no one realised then was that this moment of triumph was also their last. While the team celebrated in Perth, trouble was brewing back home. Mitsubishi Motors was in crisis, reeling from major safety scandals and lawsuits after fatal incidents involving truck wheels detaching on the road. The company couldn't afford to be seen spending money or enjoying itself in motorsport. Weeks later, the announcement came. Mitsubishi would withdraw from the World Rally Championship, officially to focus management resources on a revitalisation plan. In reality, the rally team had become a victim of circumstances far beyond their control. For the engineers and mechanics who had just turned the car into a podium winner, it was devastating. And yet, there was still one glimmer of hope. By 2007, new WRC rules allowed privateer entries to run with manufacturer permission. Mitsubishi authorised 2 cars. A private team secured massive Abu Dhabi sponsorship. Cars were built, wrapped, team kit made, everything literally ready to go for Monte Carlo 2007. Then, at the last moment, Mitsubishi HQ pulled the plug. The entire programme cancelled overnight. Abu Dhabi turned to Subaru, who refused to change their blue and gold colours, so the deal went to Ford instead. And that partnership would go on to define the next era of the WRC. Mitsubishi's second chance gone before it even started. Looking back, Rally Australia 2005 wasn't just the end of a season, it was a snapshot of a sport in transition. That year, the entire PSA group, Peugeot and Citroën, announced their withdrawal from full factory participation. Citroën would take a year out to focus on developing a new car, while Kronos Racing ran its entries in 2006. Škoda also ended its works programme, and as you've seen, Mitsubishi would soon follow. Overnight, just Ford and Subaru remained as full works manufacturers. The service parks grew quieter, the championship smaller. But for one weekend in Perth, Mitsubishi stood tall. The car was quick, the team united, the passion unmistakable. They didn't know it was their final fight, but they went down swinging. And that is how legends bow out. So, was Rally Australia 2005 the downfall of the WRC? Maybe not the beginning, but perhaps the first crack in the surface. Because after this rally, the championship was never quite the same again. Rally Australia 2005. Mitsubishi's last fight, the end of one era and the start of another.